Welcome to the Bliss of Art. I'm Mary Boehme, owner of Mary Art Studios, and thank you so much for joining me today. Right now, we're going through some difficult times in our society with social distancing and the mask and the gloves. So please, don't feel like you have to paint this project today. Maybe you can use markers if you're not painting live. You can use markers, colored pencils, crayons, whatever you have available, folks. That's what I want you to use. I do not want you to go to the store and buy anything. Please, please, do not go to the stores unless you absolutely have to. So we're doing Seascape today, but before I start Seascape, which is one of my favorite things to paint, I want to review Zombizella. Maybe I'll paint her today again. No, I'm just kidding. We are painting a seascape. But when I took Zombizella home with me, and no, she's already home with me. When I brought her in and painted her, I left her colors too bright. And so the next day I said, oh, Zombizella, she looks like her colors are too bright. She's been through dirt and dust and no telling what else Zella has been through. So I added some darker colors to her top. I started at the head, and then I just let the paint drip. You can see I got little notes on my wrist to remind me, my hand to remind me of things to do. I just let some of the paint fall right down because I wet this down really well with a spray bottle and then let paint drip right down to get the feel of drops, water drops. And we're going to be using that secret technique. Somebody taught me that too, and I was so happy. It's a secret technique, so don't tell anybody, please. So we are painting a seascape, and as you can see, I've already prepped the board. I did a yellowish gold. It's almost like a yellow ochre. It's hard for me to say that word, but I try to get it out. And so we have lots of yellow. What we could do on our canvas is just take our big fat brush and make X marks going all the way across. Just light paint. We're not talking real thick paint. This is going to be covered up, most of it. So we don't want to use a lot of paint, especially these days. And so I went through with my X's, made big old X's going across. And then I got all the way to the bottom and I said, I'm going to wet my brush. So I wet my brush some more. And I went across, all the way across, just kind of bleeding those colors out, going back and forth and spreading the colors out, making it a nice, kind of even surface. So that's how we're going to start our seascape. So you can start your seascape that way or any way you desire because it is your painting and you can do whatever you want. So let's get started. I've already mixed my paints. I'm going to turn around and grab them. And you have to spray acrylic paints very, very well. Keep them well watered. They're kind of like plants. They'll die if you don't keep them well watered. And they dry up very, very fast. So that's why we want to spray them down continually. I'm using paints from yesterday from Zombizella because I do not want to waste my paints. So if it looks a little sloppy, guess what? It is, but who cares? It's your painting. Okay, so let me start out with some clean hands because I touched the side of that and got all yucky. And I'm going to start off with white. Well, I forgot one little step. I'm going to set this down for a second because, and wipe my hands off again. It could be egg and, get it? Easter, EGG. All right. We're having fun today, folks. Lots and lots of fun. So you need a pencil and a ruler. And this ruler is not long enough, but I'm going to make it work. And I'm going to say my horizon is, say, right about here. You want it kind of high. So draw your line so you can see it, then go all the way across. Try to make it as straight as you can because horizons are straight, nice and straight. And then I'm going to have a line going down here, and it's going to be in the shape of an upside down, almost upside down V. So I'm going to go from here, and let's see, I want to go probably come in this way and maybe come over a little bit more because I like, this is going to be our sand. And that those pencil marks are going to be covered up, so don't worry about them. Who cares? And I want to start off with titanium white. But the white at the top are going to be the clouds. And clouds are not exactly white, even though they seem like it sometimes. So I'm going to get my brush, a bigger brush here, big flat brush. Must be over here. Here it is. And get some white paint. Oh, my hands keep sticking in that paint. I've got too much paint at the end. Pardon me while I wipe that off because I am going to do that again. That's why I keep paper towels down here. They're nice and handy to have. If you don't have paper towels, use old rags, old dish towels, whatever you can find. And you can see there was even a puzzle piece in here. I use that to separate my paint from the piece of paper I have on top of it. The paper I wet down, I put it over the top to keep my paints nice and moist. So, wipe off my hands again, stick them in this clean water, and mess it up. And grab my paints in the right order. So I'm going to take my white and I add just a little bit of darkness to a little bit of gray. And then I'm just going to do crisscross strokes. Just going across like I did when I prepped this board. Not covering up all my pretty yellow. I want some of that to show through. Nice and crisscross. These are clouds. We're going to push them up and around. I love the formation of clouds. Every time we go on long drives, I've always got my Nikon camera ready to film some clouds. Back and forth, then push up, push up. Clouds are swirly, they go up. They go all over the place. That had a little tiny bit of green in it, but I like it. There's green, there's all kinds of colors in the clouds. More paint, a little bit more green, that's okay. I like it right there in the center. I love the clouds when they're really, really dark. That's my favorite kind of cloud. I know a storm is coming, and I hope I'm not outside when it hits. Swirling, swirling up, bringing those clouds up, hitting our horizon. Horizon? Horizon. I have so much fun when I'm talking to my friends. All right. Take my dry brush and just gently go across, fluffing those clouds up. Fluffing, taking my wrist, doing little jerky motions, getting those clouds up, going all different directions. Bringing it down here. And I'm just tapping it in because I want it to almost look cloudy. Like there's a cloud, a real long, thin cloud going in there. Very nice. Beautiful. And I bet yours is just as lovely. Set this brush down and go back to the brush I just had. And I put it over here. So now I want to do a light blue over the top of that. So I'm going to do swirly clouds again, starting in the center because I have more paint on my brush. And then some clouds go up and some clouds go around, and just take your wrist and go however you want with it. Have fun with those clouds. They are amazing clouds. Art is all about building colors. We are building, 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 adding, adding, adding. Color on top of color. Okay, now I want to go with a little bit, I call it a medium blue. You might call it a light blue. And I see I've got some green on this brush. And I don't want that heavy green. And that's why it's always good to look at your brush before. And there's a reason why there's towels across here. It's going to be a secret until almost the end. So stick around so you can see why Mary Boehme has towels at the bottom of her artwork. Go back into my medium blue, making sure there's medium blue on here, and there is. Whoops, a little too heavy. Tap, 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 get some of that paint off of there. Swirling the clouds, going up, and swirls, circular motions, down towards the horizon. Doing a straight line going across my horizon there. Pushing them up, push up, push up. Feel like I'm doing my exercises. All right, I'm going to wipe that down here on my rag. And now I want to go with a little bit darker blue, but I don't want too much of that. You don't want the cloud, the sky to just pop right out. You want some blue in there, push it in, and swirling motions. And then I'm going to be bringing that out. Swirl, swirl. Just gently, gently, oh so gently. Taking some of that color and blending it in with my brush. If you are following me, you know that I use my hands and my fingers a lot in my painting. That's just my best tool, I feel. All right. And the last thing I want to do is I want to add some grayish color. And gray is usually red, yellow, and blue. Make a black. And you go heavy on the blue. You just have to keep mixing. Just mix little parts at a time. Don't do a whole lot. Because then you will, if you don't have the right color, then you wasted a lot of paint. Now I'm going to take my grayish color and stick close to that blue. And make like the inside of the cloud. Then I like that grayish color, so I'm going to come and grab some more. And come around the, too much. Good thing I started at the edge. Swirling up, swirling up. There might be a gigantic cloud right here in the middle. Swirling around. And clouds go up, and they go around, and they go down. There's just no limit to your clouds and how you can just make them look so beautiful. Blending some of that grayish color going across my horizon. Setting this brush down, taking my dry brush, and then lifting. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Lift those clouds up. Circular motions. Lifting. Look at that yellow. That yellow is showing through. So there's some bright yellow coming through. I'm going to flatten this out some. Going all the way across and bringing it down into the clouds. Now you get some nice halos. Hello, everyone. Oh, I entertain myself. Okay. And then I'm going to start working. This is going to be my water. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to put like a turquoise, a light turquoise, and I'm going to use this brush here again because I like it and I can. So I've mixed my turquoise colors, and I'm going to go with the light turquoise first. Almost looks like a blue, dipping it into some of that darker color. And I'm going to put it right in here on the horizon. Now waves, these are waves that are barely moving. So you do want to, there's a little piece of paint right there. Pick it off with my fingers. What you want to do with the waves is waves have, waves you drew them when you're a child. You probably just haven't drawn them in a long time. They have a trough, and then they have a crust, and then they got lots of foam. So just take that brush and push it right into the horizon. And I can still see that line, and that's good because I want to see it. And then this is going to fade out here, so I'm just going to add, whoops, didn't want to go up that high. My hand is slipping, slipping, slipping. I just want to go to the end, and I want to blend that horizon out. Can blend those colors together. And now I want to go with a medium turquoise. So we layer our colors, light, medium, and dark. That makes them stand out. So I'm going to go here with a little medium. I'm going to make my waves here. These waves are actually coming in to me, so I'm going to go down. Cover up some of that yellow. Go down, but not too much of it. Add a little bit more paint. I don't want too much paint on there. And then I want it to just kind of fade out going to the end. Maybe add another and add some white to it this time just to lighten it up, get some contrast going in there. Here's my wave coming in, but these aren't very big waves, so they are going to blend out, and I'm going to show you my technique and my trick, but don't tell anybody. I added some darkness on that. Okay, take it and blend it. Blend, blend, blend. Going across. Blending, blending, blending. And now I want to go a little bit darker, so I'm going with my darker turquoise. And I'm going to just wet it down because I don't want it too thick. Remember, these waves are coming in slightly, just ever so slightly. These aren't big waves, folks. These are little waves with little fish in them. Blend that out, going across. I think I'm going to use my dry brush to blend some of that out. One of my brushes fell on the floor, but I don't care. I will get it later. Hopefully I don't step on it and break it. All right. Now go some more with a darker turquoise. I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine blue on there just to really make it dark and fun. Bring in those waves that are coming in here with those crusts. As colors are closer to you, they get brighter, and then they start to fade once they get further away from you, adding more turquoise blue with ultramarine. Now, if you don't have these colors, or say you're doing this in a watercolor, and you can't run out to the store and buy it, don't worry about it. Just try to get a color wheel right here, which is why I always have that there, and blend those colors. You can come up with that color, but it might take a little bit of time to do it. Blend, blend, blend. Almost looks like a blue sky. Okay. That looks good. I need to set the paints down for a second because this is my secret technique. So don't tell anybody that I'm telling you my secrets. Okay, you can, because I want them to be a good painter too. It says breathe and it says smile. Deep breaths. Okay, when you want to do this with clean hands, you don't want paint, any kind of wild paint all over your beautiful seascape. Seascape actually came from the word landscape. A seascape is a photograph of the sea. Maybe it's a painting, or maybe it's some sort of artwork, and it was taken from the word landscape. So it looks like my hands are fairly clean. I'm going to dry them off well. All right. Now I'm going to take my painting and I turn it upside down, stand on my head. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to turn it sideways. There goes my color chart, so I'm going to grab that. It's hard to control things when you're live, folks, so you hope that it turns out well. And the reason I have the towels here is because I'm going to be dripping water down in this area. I want it to drip down. And anytime you have water dripping, it looks like waves. It looks like water, real water. So you have to take some heavy paints. First, take my spray bottle. And I'm going to try to grab a piece of paper here because you want to control where your water is going. You don't want it all over. You want your water to stay in one spot. So here I am, spraying this down really well. And that's going to give me a line. And then I'm going to put it on this side. You see it says 11:30. That was the time that I'm working with my grandson, teaching him art, giving him some private art lessons. He lives in Florida, so he knows all about the oceans. He can tell you. I have two grandsons, and they could tell you all about the fish and everything that's in the oceans. Okay, take a big brush, the biggest brush I can find, and it might be this brush right here. Let's see, where did you go? Okay, I'll just take this one since this is convenient. And remember, I'm going to do one more line here. Whoops, not too much of the water because I want the water to drip, going all the way down to create the feel of water moving. And then I want to do this edge here because I don't want it coming out into the sand. And then I'm going to take some of my light blue paint and just let it drip off the brush. Brush is nice and wet. Some more light blue. More water. Look at it going. It is a flowing, folks. That water is flowing. Sometimes there's a little chunks in there. You just blend them out with your brush. Some more light blue. Going along the horizon. I like that word, horizon. That's a fun word. More water, more drips. Nice even waves. Now I'm going to go with my medium turquoise. I'm going to add some green to it to make it kind of greeny in here. Not greedy, greeny. More water, more paint, more water, and you get a really good flow going. Push the paint down with your brush, holding your towards the tip of the brush, and you can see nice flat pieces of paint in here, and then chunky pieces like there might have been a little wave there. And now I'm going to go a little bit darker. Remember, you want contrasty colors, light, medium, and dark. And here's my turquoise, my really beautiful color. More dark turquoise. I might even add a little bit of yellow in there. It's like an ochre color that I made. Get some yellow. And then you can put some white through there because these waves just have little tiny crest. Add some more and maybe go even a little darker. Add some more ultramarine blue. Go along these edges here, because this is going to be the part that's going to be hitting the sand. More water. Get some flattened areas. Oh, isn't that just gorgeous? It's coming out so well. It looks like water, a nice stream of water. And then I'm going to take this and flatten it out a little bit. Now see, it does get a little bit messy. That's why I put the towels down to catch the water. And you can do the same thing. And now we have the shoreline. And the shoreline, I'm going to put white on one side of my brush and then a dark color, almost black. I try not to use a black color because I think, and hopefully that's going to go, whoops, I want to keep it along the shoreline. Nice waves coming in to this beautiful Panama City beach. Now you don't want to do too much work up here, but you can take your fingers and, you know, this actually, I'm going to take a brush right here. I want a bristle brush, and I know I got one, and I thought I had one out for you folks, and it's right here. Good. And so I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go on this side here. I'm going to push in, because remember, this is a shoreline, and a shoreline isn't even. And a shoreline has some crust going, you know, but this is nice, and it gives a thickness to it, and it also builds up that paint. And then down here, there's very little. Nice, nice, nice. Some green, beautiful green showing through. Okay, now we're done. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to turn the painting to right side up. And I hear a microwave going in the other room. Somebody's cooking something. Must be my husband. Okay, I want to push this in a little bit more too, just to give a feel that water's coming in. All right, and then down here, same thing. Maybe add a little more white on this brush. Take some of the paint out. Add some white. Add a little bit of brown. Let's see, I want the brown on the inside. And then that's going to fade out. Okay, what do you think? We got some waves going, very nice waves, some clouds, and then we got a horizon, and now we're done. Nope, we're going to do some sand. Sand is a lot of fun to do too. We've already got our basic color down, the yellow with a little bit of crimson red in it. That's what I've created. And then the sand needs to have a big brush. So I want to do this brush here for the sand. It's got a little bit of green on it, but that's okay. So I've already blended this kind of messy, look at this messy thing. I just hate wasting colors, and so I don't. And what I'm going to do is this is the color I used in Zella the Zombie yesterday. It's a flesh tone. And so I'm going to put the dark down first, and then I'm going to put a light on top of it. I'm just tapping this dry brush into the paint. I'm going to move this around here, and then I'm going to push the paint in, push it in, and look how beautiful that sand is. There's some stuff that's coming out, some green I'm picking up, and sometimes the ocean has, you know, sprinkles of water coming in. So I'm going to do that again because I really, really like that color. And just push it. Take your dry brush, push it towards the water, going up. And it's hard to get close to the shoreline, so I'm not going to get too close. Not as close as I like. I'm going to make this a little bit lighter here because it's going to fade out. Sand swirls around, so you can do circular motions. You can just push with your hand into that shoreline. Now I'm going to add a little bit of white to that flesh tone with my messy paints and come down here, and I'm going to get some depth in there. I got the dark color on one side, the white color, I'm just dipping it in, making a mess, adding all these nice colors in there, swirling my sand around, letting some of that beautiful yellow shine through. This here, I'm just going to blend, blend, blend. I got a blending brush. I should blend, blend, blend. More white, more flesh. I want it darker in here. I'm going to form like a triangle. Remember I said the eye looks for forms, so you might want to do forms of triangles. Pushing the brush into the paint, swirling it around, letting some of that yellow show through. Gorgeous! All right. Now we got a little bit of shore going. We got a horizon. And when I took this photograph, there was a gorgeous, gorgeous silvery horizon going all the way across here. It was just like silver streak. And it's really hard to get silver, to make a silver color for me. Maybe for you it's easy. And actually this is not a good brush. I need a pointed, I need a thin brush. So let me grab this one here. This will work. I'm going to prep it a little bit. Put white on my one side of the paint, one side of the brush, and then put a darker color. This is sort of like a dark brown on the other. And then I'm just going to take my hand and grab my maul stick. If you never used a maul stick before, folks, this is marvelous. Homemade, of course, just a stick, a cane. And then I put a sock, kind of dirty, on the top. And it's filled with a bunch of stuff. And what am I going to use this for? Knock myself some sense? No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take, since my hand is a little shaky, I just take it and I rest my hand on it. And then I'm going to put my brush on the end. I'm going to start here to get my line going. And then I'm just going to create my line going all the way across. Using my maul stick. Giving me some nice horizon. Go back into the white, add a little bit of that dark brown again, but the color will start fading, so I don't want too much. And I'm going to have to go on this. Nope, can't do it on that side. Okay, resting my arm on here, starting a run right here. Going across. Look how nice that horizon looks. And taking a dry brush and blending it out some. You don't want it to just pop out. You want to blend it in with the dry brush. Oops, I'm sorry, I had that right in your face. Pardon me. Okay, now that I have this smaller brush, I'm going to push some of this color in because it's still wet, so it will move. Pushing it into the water. Turning it on the side almost, putting my maul stick down, don't need that for a while. I'm going to come over here and push some of that paint up. That's still a little wet. You can see that it's even wet. Maybe grab a little bit of it there. Maybe there's some lovely, gorgeous, amazing seashells somewhere around here. We could paint those in, but I'm not going to paint those in today. You can. Set my brushes down. And now I want to add a little bit of a light pink, just barely. So I'm going to need some more white, and I got to take it off the top of this cover that I had. but I don't want too much on it. So what I did was I put a bunch on, and now I'm going to take off some of it. Just make up your mind, you say. Make up your mind. And then I'm going to jab it in here. Making circular motions. And putting some of that along here, because that might be some foam that's come up from those waves. Circular motions are very important. Get to the edge and you blend it out, because those colors, you don't see them as well. They're far away from you. And then I'm taking my brush and licking it. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, that would be a good idea. Vincent van Gogh used to lick his brushes, and they say that's what killed him, because he licked the brushes and the brushes had lead in the paint. So do not lick your brushes. Of course, I'm not using any lead paints, but don't lick your brushes. Okay. Now to add a little sunshine. Of course, you got to do that. And this I'm going to do with my hands, because I can. And I've got that yellow. You see a little streak of blue in there. That's okay. I'm going to add a bright yellow, sticking my thumb in there. Yeah, you don't have to. You can use a brush if you want that color. And then just put a sun right up in this corner right here. There's the sun. Beautiful sunset. All right. And then when you have a sunset, the sun shines a lot of light down, and I need a brush. I need this brush here, and scraper, palette knife, that's what it's called. And so I'm going to add some white. Come back here and grab some white, because my white is almost all gone off this palette, and I'd like to mix it with a little bit of yellow, this bright yellow here, and bring some of those rays down. Those sun rays will come down here, and they will go into the water, and they will light up this water. Take a little bit more, bring it down in here. It's got some green in it, but who cares? It's your painting. Then you can push some of that down with your brush, your dry brush, because that paint's kind of dry. It's already drying. Push it into the sun. Then there's some rays that are coming up there that direction. Oh yeah, shining down here. Look at that shine. Maybe some rays are coming out here, brightening up the entire area, because it is nighttime. Almost nighttime. And we have, of course, some crazy stuff going on. I always like to put crazy things in. I'm going to have a little genie bottle in here. I've got this crimson red, and this red is really going to show up. And let's say this bottle just came out right here, and it landed right there in the shore, in the sand. And it's a funky bottle, and it's got a little white lid. So I'm going to add some white and some of that flesh tone right here. And then to cap it off, we're going to add some black. And we're going to give it a little shade. So I'm going to wipe some of that paint off and just shade that area around here. Because the sun's coming down here, the shade will be on this side. Now that brush is going to have a long shaded area coming down here, some on the side. Probably not as much as I put, but that's okay. And the last thing I'm going to do before I call this a finished painting and I sign it, as any good artist will do, I want to add a little bit more in the shoreline, but I don't want to mess up my pretty sun that I put in there. So I'm going to go with a brown, and I actually have to mix it because I don't see any brown in here. Maybe that'll work. That little bit of brown there. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to roll it. I'm going to first get all the paint off. scraping it along the side. I'm then taking it and rolling it on my palette knife. And then I want to push that down. So I'm gonna do this movement first with my hand, practicing the movement before I make it, and then just take it and roll that paint going across. All the way up, blending it in with my dirty fingers. No, not my dirty fingers. Sticking my finger in my dirty water, dropping my brush. That's okay. This is a live show. Anything can happen. And it usually does. All right. Take my hands and blend that shoreline. Going down. And shores aren't even. They kind of go in. Sometimes you lose it. And there's some shoreline in here. I'm going to blend some of that yellow out. And we're going to say that's kind of a shadow created. Don't you just love painting? Painting is so relaxing. I could do this for hours, hours and hours and hours. And I want to blend some of that paint that's on my fingertips a little bit more. And one last thing, and then I'm finished. I thought I was finished, but I want to add some red because I'm Hispanic, and I want this red to pop right in here in the middle of this. Red, red. Swirl it around. We don't want too much color to take away from this. The beautiful, beautiful colors we have in here going all the way across. And then the last thing I'll do is I will take my pen and sign it M. Boehme. And today's date is 4/10/20. And then I always sign it SDG. SDG stands for Sole Deo Gloria. To God be the glory, because he deserves all the credit for my artwork, and I'm going to give it to him. Little sip of coffee before we're going to sing our happy brush dance. Well, it looks lovely, and I am so pleased with it, and I hope you are pleased with yours as well, with your Seascape. Excuse me while I use a tissue to blow my nose. So friends, please join me on my YouTube station and subscribe, Mary Boehme, B-O-E-H-M-E, because I go higher and higher up the ladder, and that makes it easier for you to find me. So tell your friends. I air daily, 3 p.m. Central Time, and I always create a painting, and I try to put it on my Facebook page on what I'm going to be painting next and what we're going to be painting together. If you have any comments, leave them on my Facebook page, and you know, give me some suggestions. What would you like to see me paint? Because I would be happy to paint anything. We can do these together, and I'm very creative. I never waste paints. And let me bring out some of the stuff, and I'm sorry I'm out of the frame for a second, but I'm still talking to you. And grab. I made Easter Bunny ears with my grandson the other day, my grandson Jet. I have two, Peyton, he's the best baseball player ever, and then Summer, oh my gosh, she's just tender to my heart, and then Jansen, he's 14 years old, and you know those 14-year-olds. Anyways, what I did with this right here was I just took the paints that I had left over because I grew up poor, I don't waste anything, and I put the paper right on top of the paints. I smushed it down, I moved it around, and I twirled it, and this might become a card. I might make this into a greeting card of some sort, or I might decorate it and then put it on in my website, marytoart.com. And then this one too, I created this one with some leftover paint. So don't waste your paints, don't waste your colored pencils, don't waste any of your equipment or your tools because we want to be sparing during this time. So, you know, remember to a couple of reminders to use your color chart in creating colors. The color wheel is the best thing. I would order one if you can. Don't go out and buy it, but when you can get out, definitely buy a color chart, a color wheel, if you're interested in really pursuing painting, because painting is a wonderful, amazing art. And you can enjoy it with me. We can enjoy it together. So folks, thank you so much, and we're going to close. I'm going to reach over here, turn on the music, grab your brushes while I'm doing that, and we're going to do the happy brush dance. To Bill Withers. He created the song Lean on Me. Grab your brushes. I'll grab mine over here. All right, Bill Withers, come on. Where did you go? I'm going to get out of your sight. You don't need to see my face so close. And try it again. Okay, I'm going to start over from square one. The words are sometimes in our lives. We all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Swallow that pride, make those phone calls, create those cards. Don't text, please call, a lot more personal. And apologize if you've offended somebody. You can do it. Come on, dance with me. Do the floss. Oops, don't knock your paints over. I'll get it later. That you understand, we all need somebody to lean on. Me. Please do wear your mask and your gloves when you go out. I know they're inconvenient, but they're your protection and my protection as well. And don't go out unless you absolutely have to. Folks, I thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Thank you, and God bless.